Okay, everybody, so I thought I would show off a recent addition to my collection, or I should say, a re-addition to my collection. So, this is a Vitavac Model 88, marketed by the Vitamix Corporation, but made by Airway in Toledo, Ohio. The Vitamix Corporation is actually based out of Cleveland, Ohio. And at some point, I want to say maybe in the 1980s, the Vitamix Corporation had a contract with Airway to privately label these machines for the Vitamix Corporation. And they did that, I want to say, all the way up until maybe the early mid-2000s. They were sold in quite limited quantities. You don't see a lot of these around. This isn't the earliest model Vitavac, but it's not the newest one either. This one is all black with the Douglas power nozzle. So the story behind this machine is I bought this vacuum on eBay back in 2000, I want to say 2015. And I think I paid about $85 for it after shipping, which is actually, in retrospect, a pretty good deal. And I had it for a while. About a year and a half later, this machine got traded with a whole bunch of other machines to another vacuum cleaner collector. And it sat in his collection for almost 6 years or so. And then last week, we did another trade and I got the machine back. So kind of funny how that worked out. So it's in my hands again. It's one of those things where it's not a machine like I had to have, but I really liked the machine and I kind of wanted to have it again in my collection. And he was looking to thin his herd of machines a little bit, so thus I have the machine. It's in very good shape, I would say, for a 30-some-year-old vacuum cleaner. There's a couple of small dents in the body right here, but yeah, you actually can kind of see it, but it's not too bad. It's kind of like this little, almost like carrying strap here. This Vitavac is basically an Airway 88. It's funny, they gave the Vitavac and the Airway the same model number. Another thing that's funny about this is that the Vitavac logo is ever so slightly off center. I wonder if these things were built by hand, because they were certainly expensive back in the day, and you can kind of tell like there are some maybe minor imperfections in the stamping on the metal, but in a way that makes that machine maybe a little more unique. And it certainly is a very high quality machine. For those of you who do not know anything about Airway, which this vacuum cleaner basically is, they pioneered a lot of very clever designs and things that are still used in vacuum cleaners today, such as a high filtration disposable bag. They also were one of the pioneers of vacuum cleaners that had independent brush roll motors with a shutoff switch, as well as swivel steering and quick attachment access. A lot of really good things in vacuum cleaners really is owed to Airway, and it's kind of sad that they no longer exist today. And no, I'm not talking about those cheap Chinese vacuum cleaners that are labeled as Airway. Those are not the same machine. But and it's one of those things too, like this particular vacuum, it's a really high quality machine. I wouldn't say there's anything particularly special about its performance. It works just fine, but it's like one of those things where it's just a really high quality vacuum cleaner. If you look in here, I made a HEPA bag for this machine, as high filtration bags for airways are no longer so easily attainable. So this is actually a Kenmore U HEPA bag that I took the top portion off, and I slid this in here and saved the old bag collar from the bag that was in this machine before. And after I slid this over the top, I actually cut the excess filter bag around the machine so that it would not interfere with the locking mechanism. So I have that. It's got the perforated chamber as well. That's supposed to help with the airflow, so that it stays constant. Pretty sure in the way similarly to how a oil canister works, I'm pretty sure there is a cyclonic action in here as well. So that helps the bag maintain power for a little bit longer. So there's that as well. Just gotta close this. So try to move this around. There we go. Because the bag that I made for this machine is kind of custom made, it takes a little more effort to close the bag on this. So we'll give it a quick run. It's nothing really particularly special about the way it sounds either. It sounds kind of like any other older canister vacuum cleaner, but we'll run it first without the power nozzle engaged, and then we'll run it with the power nozzle engaged just so you can hear it. There's only a few other videos of this machine on YouTube, so I don't have a set of attachments for it, but the fittings are standard fittings, so I can use most other canister type vacuum cleaner attachments on this machine. Or I should say tank. This really is not a canister, it's what you would call a tank. So although in a way this vacuum can kind of sit as a canister and as a tank, that's actually one of the unique things about this machine, is that you can set it upright to use like this and maneuver it around, or you can place it on its side like that as well, and then use it more as a canister or tank type vacuum cleaner. So we will first, I'll test the suction at the machine, and then we'll test it with the carpet power nozzle. That is the Vita Vac Model 88, and I think that's really all I have to say about this machine. So that is it for the night, and I hope you enjoyed the video.